I decided to make a Ghost Rider game in Unreal Engine 5 complete with the motorcycle, the open world, and some fire. Here's how I went from a blank scene in Unreal Engine to an open world Ghost Rider game. First, I got a blank project set up with a third-person starter pack. This is just a starter pack with a character that runs around in this blocky level, and he can run around and jump. The default guy is a mannequin. His name's Manny. We like Manny. Manny's cool. The next step is to add the big landscape that we're going to be roaming around in. We're going to be getting around on a motorcycle, so I tried to make it as big as possible, and that was a mistake, but we'll get back to that later. So with the sculpting tools in Unreal Engine 5, I created this big landscape with these canyons all around the sides to kind of create a natural border so that I didn't have to use invisible walls. And then I just downloaded this realistic rocky texture from Polyhaven, and with that, we're pretty much ready to move on. We just need an area big enough to kind of test things out and just to get a general idea of the space that we're working with. We don't have to add too much details right now. As much as we love Manny, the next thing to do was to swap him out with Ghost Rider so that we can actually have him in the game. So after some digging, I found this 3D model online and it looks pretty good. Remember kids, a good artist creates, a great artist steals. But I want this model to use the same animations as Manny. Well, in a previous video, I talked about how we can do that with this technique called animation retargeting. We basically use this to swap out character models but keep the same animations. And we're pretty much doing a similar thing here. Basically, I had to set up the Ghost Rider model with the same skeleton as Manny by moving the bones to kind of fit Ghost Rider. And after manually moving each bones into place so that they fit, we can now swap out the Ghost Rider skin with Manny. So basically on the inside, he's just like Manny. We love you, Manny. Then we add a nice flame to that noggin and we got a badass looking Ghost Rider. Now the next step is to get him some wheels. Now, to be honest, I don't really know how to do this myself off the top of my head, so I did what I normally do and start looking for tutorials online. How do I make bike in Unreal Engine 5? And I found this tutorial for a physics-based motorcycle in Unreal Engine, which sounds like exactly what we're looking for. So I tried to follow it to get it to work in our game. Motorbike physics. This sounds like exactly what I need. An authorized instructor. This is like exactly what I need. How long is it? 51 minutes. God. Is there any way we can make this in TikTok form? Is that possible?
If you want to get the ready-made project, the link is in the description, so you save yourself the time to do it. And
I can get the ready-made project already. $9.99. What am I, made of money? No, I'll just watch the tutorial.
One eternity later.
Sport car.
Alright. Fuck it. I'll just spend the $10. I don't care. Oh, look at that. It's only $8. Even better. Alright. So, after importing that project into ours, I had to do some work with Blueprints to get our third-person Ghost Rider running around to switch to the bike. Blueprints, if you don't know, is just the coding system in Unreal Engine for people that are scared of real coding. So then I just slapped a copy of the Ghost Rider model onto the bike, and we basically have the Ghost Rider bike in our game. But there's one problem with the motorcycle. It just doesn't really feel fast. Even after bumping up the actual speed, it doesn't really feel that much faster. But luckily there's 3 tricks that we can do to make it feel a lot faster. One is adding speed lines. These seem a little bit cartoonish, but the faster that the player travels, it really emphasizes the speed that you're traveling, and it makes it feel better. Number 2, we lower the camera as we go faster. And 3, we increase the FOV of the camera as we go faster too. This just means that the camera can capture a lot more wider of an area. And these 3 things independently might seem trivial, but once we put them all together into the actual game, it really adds a sense of speed. Just look at this side by side and you can see how much it adds to the actual feeling of going fast. Now, it's great to drive around on the Hog, but we actually need something to do in this open world. The map is pretty big, but going from one edge of the map to the other only takes about 2 minutes. So we need something to do between that, or else it's going to get boring really fast. So naturally, we're going to put in some enemies for him to beat the shit out of. So I downloaded some animations from Mixamo and used them to create a basic 3-punch combo for the Ghost Rider. Then I just needed someone for him to beat up. Someone generic looking and someone that has animations already set so that you don't have to do too much more work. We love Manny. So to turn Manny into a bad guy, I gave him this dark ethereal material so that he looks like all ghoulish and Dark Souls-ish. Not like Dark Souls. You get what I'm trying to say. Something that Ghost Rider would want to beat up. Then I just had to use the blueprints to program a simple AI that just walks up to the player and tries to throw a punch. And again, I went on Mixamo and used these zombie animations to kind of create like that undead, I don't know what to call it, I don't know. So now we have Ghost Rider with a motorcycle, space to roam around in, and enemies to beat up. Now it's just time to spice the place up a bit. As much as everyone loves a big empty open world, it would be so nice if we had an open world that was filled with fun and interesting set pieces, filled to the brim with character and world building so that it makes the whole set come to life. But unfortunately, like I said earlier, I messed up when I made the map super big. Not just because it made a bunch of work for me, but it made a bunch of work for my PC as well. The large map was absolutely destroying my PC, and by the time I got to this part, I could barely drag and drop any buildings into the scene without turning the editor into a fucking slideshow. So I had to leave the terrain mostly barren, because I'm running out of time and I don't really give a shit, so I downloaded some old Western packs and plopped some buildings in and called it a day. I also added that sick fire trail on the bike tires, and also some sound effects all around it, just kind of make things come alive. Kind of like before how I was talking about how feeling fast isn't the same as just being fast in the game. Sound effects really make things feel a lot better. Just look at the difference it makes with combat with and without sound. And speaking of sound, the last thing to add was music. And I found these rock tracks on Stream Beats, so they're totally DMCA free, which just means that it's not going to get flagged by YouTube or Twitch or any streaming service. And I figured they would make cool background music for this, you know, heavy metal sort of character. And we pretty much have everything now, so finally, let's check out how it went. I think it turned out pretty cool. I'm certainly happy with it visually. The Unreal Engine is way powerful. I'm used to Unity, which is a great engine and all, but you know, it doesn't really compete with Unreal Engine in terms of the raw visuals. I really wanted to get this video out by the end of the month, so I didn't have time to add a bunch of things that I wanted to, you know, like the whip chain that he has in the movies and comics. And I also wanted to add like his penance dare where he like grabs a guy and steals his soul and whatever. But I just didn't really have time to finish that before I could get this video out. Let me know in the comments if you think I should come back and add stuff to it. And if you want to see how I turned a fake ad into a real game, you can check out this video right here.